Welcome to Texas in May. This is my backyard, and I am thrilled to be outside after being cooped up so long during this quarantine, as I'm sure you are as well. I am very excited to share with you some ideas that you can use with your kids of all ages, and those of you who might just be hobbyists and curious will love everything I have to share. I am Carol Espenson. I am a teacher of over 30 years. And I am a mom and a grandma, and I know that what I have to share is going to make a difference in your children's lives. I know most of you see the potential in your children, and I'm pretty sure you've often asked yourself if you are building their curiosity and helping your child reach their full potential. I know as a teacher and a mom, I thought about that a lot. I found over the years I could never go wrong if my students were the ones doing the exploring. This alone was the best foundation for getting students excited, the first hurdle in learning. Next, to engage students, I found simple tools that help students observe in greater detail than ever before. And because they're seeing things in greater detail than ever before, they're quickly amazed by what they're seeing. Magnification tools are simple. You may already have some around your house. You may have a jeweler's loupe, a hand lens, a magnifying glass, or even a digital microscope. All of these magnify the world around you. The hand lens is used by placing it above the specimen and adjusting it to the best focus possible. A jeweler's loupe can be placed in the eye or used with glasses like mine, and the specimen is brought up to the lens until you reach the best focus sweet spot. Both the hand lens and the jeweler's loupe are highly portable. However, this hand lens only provides 5, 10, and 20 times magnification options. And the loupe provides a 5 times magnification option. The digital microscope is portable as well and is powered through a USB computer port. This tool allows you to adjust the focus anywhere from 10 times all the way up to 200 times, and to capture images and videos for later viewing. The concepts I'm going to share today work with these tools. However, because of the limited magnification options, I personally prefer the digital microscope. You'll see me use the digital microscope during this presentation more because I can better show you what is being observed in this online medium. In my classroom, I preferred the digital microscope because I was able to see what the student was observing simultaneously, and I was then better able to guide their curiosity. It isn't enough to set specimens for viewing out and to demonstrate the tool's use. You'll get a lot of impulsive hopping around and many wows and oohs and ahs, but the interest will fade in time. It's important to set the stage and to guide the experience. The student's age, learning style, or cognitive ability makes no difference at all. It's the asking of the effective questions that teaches students to interact with their observations in such a way that the practice of observing, writing, inferring, comparing, using advanced vocabulary, and theorizing becomes second nature. That's where the real thinking and the learning takes place. The power of observing closely stretches student thinking and completely transforms their understanding of the form and the function of the world around them. With the consistent use of appropriate questions, students can and will learn complex science ideas, practices, vocabulary, and they're going to be able to transfer these higher order thinking skills to all of the areas of their life. So, let's get started. The questioning concepts are simple. Start with a question that guides observation. Ask, what does this plant, bug, animal, whatever you're looking at, remind you of? Then, keep digging deeper. What else does this remind you of? What else? Why did it make you think of that? Strive to get 5 or more ideas per specimen. Move next to guiding the student to theorize about what they are seeing. Ask, why do you think the specimen is this shape? Why do you think it's that color? Why do you think it moves the way it does? Why is it like that? These questions will help students fully focus and think about the specimen properties that they are observing. You may recall scientific properties include any trait that can be measured, such as color, density, volume, texture, appearance, all of that. Move next to asking students to compare what they're seeing to other objects that they're familiar with. For example, This is magnified snakeskin. Ask students what this magnified image of snakeskin looks like. Lead the student to figure out that it's similar to bubble wrap. If they can't come up with the answer, you keep leading them through more questioning. It's very important that the student make the discovery. You can even talk about, well, how is bubble wrap the same as snakeskin? What do we use bubble wrap for? The child more than likely will say, well, to keep something safe and to protect it. That's exactly right. The snakeskin does the same thing for the snake. It wraps around it and it keeps them safe. Or compare the properties of the specimen using the word as. For example, this butterfly scale is as small as a speck of dust on my finger. Try comparing with metaphors too. Remember, a metaphor is when you give life to an inanimate object. For example, the falling snowflakes are dancers. Never hesitate to use scientific terminology as you guide their observations. Young learners are sponges and they love learning big words. Next, challenge students to draw what they see. After thinking about what they are observing with such purpose, scientific drawings will evolve and reflect the details that slowed them down and had them focus. Younger students in particular need to be guided to draw what they actually see rather than what they wish to draw. And observational drawing is based on real observations, whereas in a creative drawing, students can add colors, embellishments, and all kinds of things. Teach students to fill the whole frame with their drawings. Start small. Encourage reluctant artists to work any happy little mistake into their drawings as though they belonged there. Think like Bob Ross. When the drawing is complete, ask the artist to look again with their magnification tool and see if they can add just a few more details that they might have missed. I bet they can. Change the scale of magnification if possible with your magnifying tool. For example, if they started looking at something at 15 times magnification, focus in on the exact same specimen at 30 times magnification. Provide a new frame so that they can draw what they're seeing at the higher magnification. Continue examining the specimen at the magnification most appropriate for the age of the student. The concept of perspective is very important when viewing specimens. Students must keep the same perspective, which means the same position of the specimen when you change the level of magnification. That way, the students are looking at the same specimen from the same spot or perspective, but at a different magnification, so that now what they're seeing is a bigger part of the whole. But the concept of perspective is it helps to minimize the problems that might arise in a group where some students feel unable to draw or see things differently. By keeping the perspective the same, we know that they're looking at exactly the same thing without it being turned or flipped or any kind of change in the drawing. The goal of any scientific drawing is to observe more keenly what can be easily overlooked, and these drawings allow the observer to focus on any structure of particular interest to them. Scientists can do without their high-tech labs and their expensive tools, but these thinking skills learned through questioning, these questions are what lead to the majority of scientific breakthroughs and groundbreaking ideas. Revisiting a previously viewed specimen is encouraged. Why? Well, think about this. Have you ever reread a favorite book or watched a beloved movie over? Did you glean a new concept? Were you touched by a meaningful quote you'd never even noticed before? That's because at different ages, on different days, or simply sharing the experience with someone different will enhance what you see and understand. The art of observing and questioning works exactly the same way. I'd like to share with you a short video showing Alice Applegate, an experienced teacher of young children, using these techniques with a small group. Weaving these questions comes naturally and easily into any lesson or conversation and are very powerful for the learner.
Let's talk about what you have in front of you today. Do you know what this is? What this tool is?
Microscope.
It's a microscope. Now, what does a microscope do?
It helps you see stuff closer.
It helps you see stuff closer. Have you ever used a hand lens?
Yes.
Sometimes what do you call it?
Magnifying.
A magnifying glass, and another name in science is called a hand lens. What does this do for you?
It makes stuff closer.
It makes stuff look closer, that's right, it makes it bigger. Well, when you use a hand lens, it's really cool, but guess what? It doesn't really magnify all that much, does it? So the tool you have in front of you, the digital microscope, it's going to magnify things a lot more. It's going to make it a lot bigger than a hand lens. Now, I want to show you how to use the microscope, okay? And if you were in the science class, you probably know, but basically, right here in the front, there is a gray wheel. Can you put your thumb on the gray wheel? And I'm going to do this one first, and then I'm going to let you have a turn, okay? So put your thumb on the gray wheel that's in the front, and just slide it back and forth a little bit. Okay, do you see it going from the left to the right? What happens to your screen when you do that?
It gets bigger and smaller.
It changes sizes. What else happens to you about how clear it is or how blurry it is?
If it gets too far, it's pretty blurry.
If it gets too far, it's pretty blurry. Where do you want it to?
Or too close. Like there.
Or too close. So what do you want it to do? You want to try it for a minute? What do you want it to do when you focus?
Get the perfect spot.
The perfect spot. Sometimes I call that the sweet spot. You want to get it where something is in focus. It's clear, not blurry. That's very important. So let's stop for a moment and look on our tray. Do you see what's on your tray?
Yes.
We call those specimens. And what I'd like for you to do is to pick up very carefully pick up a butterfly wing. Can you find a butterfly wing? And put it below your microscope right here. And don't touch the dial yet. What do you see when you look on your screen?
The screen gets fully covered.
The screen gets fully covered.
You also see the butterfly wing a lot closer.
Okay. Now look at your butterfly wing and look how it's different from hers. How come yours looks so different? What do you think you need to do to yours so you can see the color? If you turn it over. Kate, do you have yours?
Yes.
Can you see it in your screen?
Yes.
Now, when I'm looking at Gunner's, look what I see. It looks very blurry. Oh my goodness, we've got work to do. So let me show you how I'm going to do this, and then he's going to have his turn, and you have yours. Take a look at your screen. All right, so I'm going to use the focus. Oh no, what's happening? Oh, it's getting very blurry. Can you make yours look real blurry?
Yes.
Use your focus wheel and make it look very blurry. When it's real blurry, guess what we call that?
What?
It's out of focus. Do we want it to be out of focus?
No.
No. What do we want it to be?
Focus.
Focused. We want it to be clear. So can you use the wheel and very gently and slowly be watching your screen to see if you can get the butterfly wing in focus?
Miss Abigail?
Uh-huh.
I noticed that there's two different colors on each side.
So let's look at the side that has the most color first, okay? Can you tell us what you see?
Dots and stuff.
Dots and stuff. What else do you see? What do you see?
Scars, stripes.
Stripes. What are those stripes?
Those are like, I forgot what you can.
What are you thinking they are? Tell me in another way.
They're like stuff that you like are grip.
So like if you touched a butterfly wing, some of that would come off? Is that what you're saying? Okay, do you know what you call those that you're looking at? Those little squares? They're called scales. Did you know that a butterfly has scales?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, that's what you're looking at. What I'd like for you to do, you have your fabric. Do you know what that is? It's a piece of something.
A piece of like fabric.
Yes, fabric. Actually, it's a piece of a tablecloth. It's a small piece that's cut from a tablecloth. Now, when you look at it with just your eye, what do you see?
I see lines.
You see some lines.
Squares.
And what color is it?
Green.
And what do you see?
A
little bit louder. What?
Dots.
Looks like dots. Now let's look under the microscope.
With the microscope, I see little like holes.
You see the holes. Whoa, what do you see?
Really tiny holes.
Really tiny holes. What about you, Kate?
Like little zigzag things.
Oh, little zigzag things. You guys are coming up with some great words. Now, If I look at this microscope, how does it look? Clear or blurry?
Blurry.
So let's put it in focus. Let's use the focus wheel slowly. Oh, there you go. Now, what do you see when you are looking at it in a completely focused way? Make it blurry and then get it in focus. What do you see? Okay, now in focus, what do you see? Can you use words to describe what you see? Tell me what you see.
I see lines.
Lines, what else?
I see little tiny dots.
Little tiny, what do you think those little tiny dots are?
Holes.
Holes, what are you seeing through the holes?
Nothing. White.
Ah, what do you think it is?
This thing here.
Oh, okay, you're actually seeing the stand. You're peeking through the holes and you're seeing the stand. How do you think fabric is made?
From sewing.
Sewing, what do they have to sew?
Cow fur.
Cow fur, do you think this one is made of cow fur? They
No,
certainly do
cotton.
use cow fur. Cotton, okay, but what do?
They use it through the spinning wheel things.
Ah, spinning wheel. What is coming in that spinning wheel?
String.
Looks like string. What do they call it for sewing though? They call it thread. Thread, right. So what did they do? Show me with your fingers what the pattern looks like of the fabric. Can you show me like this? Look. Is it crisscross?
Yes.
Some of the lines sort of crisscross. What they do is they have to take all those threads and put them together, and they weave it together. That's called weaving, and then you have your fabric. Can you take your fabric off? And this time what I want you to do is get a live specimen, and it used to be alive, it's not alive anymore, a living specimen I should say, and let's pick up the sand dollar, the round sand dollar. Pick up one of the sand dollars. And do you know where a sand dollar lives?
The beach.
If it were alive?
Water.
It would be at the beach, at the ocean. And let's put it, what we say, right side up. Yep. What do you
looks like a flower?
It does look like a flower. Wow.
On the top it does.
On the top it does, and that's what we're looking at, right? We're looking at the top. Okay. Do you see the flower?
Yes.
Okay. What else do you see?
Holes.
Holes? How do the holes look? When you look closely at the holes, what do you see? Like, let's put it like this.
pad.
Now yours is pretty, let me try this one. Let's switch. Now look at that one. How does that one look different from this one?
That one has bigger.
I also see
Wait, just a minute.
And this one has tinier.
Okay, how else do they look different?
This one's hard and this one's softer.
This one looks softer? What makes it look softer?
These.
What do we call those, do you think? How would you describe that?
hairs.
It looks like little hairs, doesn't it? Can you turn it over to the other side? Like fur? It
Like
does.
little feathers.
Oh, like little feathers? Well, but wait a second. Why do you think, oh my goodness, look on the other side. What did you see?
The mouth.
The mouth? Where is the mouth of the sand dog?
In the middle. In the middle.
Okay.
This is the good fact. The mouth is actually their butt. Too.
Oh, really? Now, what do you think, how does the sand dollar get its food? Can you put it flat on the stand?
It goes over it.
It goes over it, and what does it do?
It suffocates it.
Well, and
It sucks up. It sucks up.
Yes, it sucks up through the mouth. I'm sure you noticed how very engaged the kids were when they were using the digital microscope. Watching them in action, you can really see how their superpower of observation has been unleashed. I invite you to try it at home or in the classroom and see just what discoveries your kiddos can make.
I hope you enjoyed seeing how these students responded to Alice's lesson and the questions she asked. It's imperative that students develop the habit of observing, comparing, and theorizing to build the skills necessary to become scientifically literate and a lifelong learner. Consistent practice with observations and questioning, you're going to be amazed at these skills being reflected in your students' writing, their scientific drawings, and in the questions and analogies that they use in everyday life. These lifelong skills are invaluable to learners of all ages and across all content areas. John Holt once said, "Children are born passionately eager to make as much sense as they can of the things around them." And it's my hope that through the use of these simple scientific tools and with consistent use of higher order thinking questions, we can ensure that today's students become the leaders and the scientists of tomorrow. Thank you for spending time in my Texas garden today. I've really enjoyed this conversation and I want it to continue. Tag me in the pictures that you post, text me, let me know if you have any questions or if I can support you in any way. I invite you to go to my website, southernsciencesupply.com, and look under the resources tab for something called Magnification Magic. There you're going to find about 75 everyday items that you can look at magnified from as low as 15, then 30, 50, 100, 200, even 500 times, with this perspective being exactly the same so the child can identify what they're looking at as they move up in magnification. It's a terrific way to get kids involved, questions, and most of all, getting them to become lifelong learners.